Well, welcome everyone. We're so excited for y'all to be with us for Flavors of the Summer Garden. And so I'm Pam Fullenweider.
And I'm Claire Virga.
And we're fully Mediterranean. And so we are so excited. So tonight we're going to talk to you and help you explore the beautiful food of the Mediterranean diet and really talk about the health benefits.
And first, we're going to start by preheating our oven. So
yes,
right away, let's all preheat our ovens to
425. So if you haven't done it, I'm going to do it too, and we'll get it started.
And similar to Urban Harvest, our mission is about, and well, not our mission in general, but the Mediterranean diet is about eating seasonal, eating local foods. So it really makes a lot of sense for us to be going to the farmer's market or our backyard gardens, picking up fresh ingredients and using them in our cooking.
So we're going to start with our wine pairing, and then we're going to prep our eggplant and get that in the oven so it can start cooking. Then we'll make our appetizers so we can sip while we're having a little appetizer, and then we'll finish off our Involtini. So let's get started. So here we have our wine pairing.
Yeah, and so we chose a Chianti wine, a red wine from Italy, tonight because it is a lighter wine. It pairs perfectly with a plant-based meal like the one we're having tonight.
Yes.
We recommended not Chianti Classico because that's a little bit more full-bodied, so it pairs well with meats. So this is a light and refreshing.
Yes, and it has been warm here in Houston,
yeah.
So that's what we're going to go. So we're going to go ahead and pour ourselves a little glass. And so when we talk about the components of the Mediterranean diet, what's so great is so we know it's based on 10 nutritious food groups. And maybe you've heard mostly about the wine that people are like, oh, well, if I'm drinking red wine, I'm following the Mediterranean diet. Well, that's one component. And so when we talk about alcohol, first of all, salute. We'll take a little taste. You know, there's a lot of research going on about that was done on red wine with all its polyphenols and antioxidants. It's really amazing. And that we know that it's perfect. It helps reduce blood clotting. So we love that, and we know it's healthy for our hearts. And so when we looked at countries, these countries bordering the Mediterranean Sea, there was a lot of red wine being drank with meals. So when we talk about the Mediterranean diet, we always encourage having wine with meals. The serving sizes for women, that's 1 glass per day. For men, it's 2 glasses. We always say if you do not drink, do not start. You can still get the benefits of the Mediterranean diet without having alcohol, but we know this does contain antioxidants. And so it's nice if you like to enjoy a glass of wine, but really all alcohol is included on the Mediterranean diet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clear this off, and we're going to go ahead and bring our eggplant involtini ingredients over and get those prepped. So the first thing we're going to do is prepare our eggplants. So here I have them, and I'm going to see, we have 2 beautiful eggplants from Atkinson's Farms from the farmer's market. We love eggplants.
Yeah, so eggplants are full of anthocyanins, which is a specific type of antioxidant, which is really good for preventing all types of disease, including cancer. It's also a great source of fiber. It's low in calories, so it's a good, nutritious vegetable to include in your diet, especially during the summer when it's in season.
Yes. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my eggplant and I'm going to take off the tops and this bottom. And then so with the involtini, it's a classic Italian dish. Again, part of the Mediterranean cuisine. And it's so wonderful because you can stuff it with really anything. Tonight we're using ricotta and spinach. You could put Italian sausage in it. It's really a popular dish. And so it's wonderful. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off our top and bottom, and then we're going to just slice it into about thin slices that we're going to cook in the oven. So typically involtini is, yes, you're going to see this slice.
The size of the slice, so you can see, I would say it's like a 1/2 inch.
It's probably a little less. We're trying to do a little less than that. Some of them might be a little less, so maybe 1/4 of an inch probably. And so when you're cutting, I'm using, I ended up using a serrated knife. It's a little easier to cut through your eggplant. I'm using a bear claw so that I'm not putting my fingers They're going straight down. And so we're just going to cut these into these wonderful slices. Right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring, I have 2 of my sheets, my cookie sheets that we prepared with a little parchment on it. And then we're going to lay these on here. And we're going to just, you can either brush or spray some olive oil on your pieces. So here I have all my wonderful pieces of eggplant laid out, and then I'm going to get my cooking spray. Again, you could brush a little olive oil over it, or I'm just going to use my sprayer and I'm just going to spray a little on top.
And this is an olive oil spray.
A cooking spray. And then I'm just going to flip them.
We mentioned some of the components, but we haven't talked about healthy fats. And
Right.
when we think about healthy fats in the diet, we primarily think about olive oil, especially in cooking. That's what we're using, but for the majority of the time, because of its health benefits,
Right.
Again, that have shown up in the research. So we really like olive oil for higher heat cooking. We like avocado oil. It's another good option.
Right.
So if you're cooking something at a higher heat, that would be our go-to.
So now we have our eggplant all prepped. And I'm going to go ahead and put these by the oven. My oven is not to the temperature yet, so let's just wait till our ovens are ready. If your oven is ready at 425, go ahead and pop it in. I'd say 10 minutes, and let's check to see if they're browning. On top, we just want to cook them until they're just brown, not totally overcooked, and then we'll take them out. So I'm going to put these over here. All right, and we're going to get started on our appetizer, on this beautiful prosciutto and melon skewers. So here's our beautiful prosciutto. We have our melon. So this is the melon. We did a little story on this from Atkinson's Farms. I mean, they're just gorgeous. And then we have our fresh basil, because we're going to actually wrap our basil around our mozzarella balls, or ciliegina. And so here is our mozzarella balls.
And ciliegina is mozzarella balls in Italian, and it means cherry.
So here we go. They're ready. So
so we already cut this in half, and we got some melon balls before class, but I'm going to show you how we do this second half. So I'm going to take out these seeds.
You know, we love melon and watermelon during this time of the year. It's so hydrating. We always say eat your water, and this is a perfect example. Whether it's watermelon or any of our melons, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Is this the one that I was using?
Nope.
Okay.
So this is actually a melon baller. I know y'all, if you don't know what one looks like, it is, and we're going to use the larger size.
And what would someone do? Because I personally don't have a melon baller at home.
Well, if you don't have a melon baller, you can try and you could do it with a spoon and make a little divot, and it
might
won't be as perfect. But
circle.
I'll show you. You can just kind of go around like you're doing. It wouldn't be a perfect circle, but you could get it on your skewer.
Yeah.
You can use a spoon, or you know, there's also like maybe it would be a big ball with an ice cream scoop. You could do that, but no, that's it. So you're just twisting, and you can just add it right in there, and super easy. Yes, we have our prosciutto here, and so I have a slice. And what we like to do, because we talked about earlier, is that the Mediterranean diet is plant forward, right? But you can still have meat in smaller amounts. And this is the perfect example. So we're going to cut this in half, because we're going to just use a small amount. We like to think of meat. So that when I say meat, I'm meaning chicken, turkey, lamb, red meat, obviously, things like this, but you're using smaller amounts. So we're just going to squish it together to put on our skewer and just use a smaller portion of it. So we'll do a couple of these.
And what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 melon balls, 1 mozzarella, and 1 serving of the prosciutto. So again, it's mostly fruit on here with a little bit of cheese and a little bit of
just
meat.
a small amount. So yes, when we talk about the Mediterranean diet, one of the things we say is we'd like you to change the way you think about meat and using it again in smaller amounts.
So we do the melon ball, I did the prosciutto, and then I'm going to wrap the mozzarella and a little bit of
This out of the way.
basil, like
Yes.
this. Make a little sandwich out of it and skewer it. And I think we think of basil and other herbs as just enhancing flavor, but they also come with lots of benefits too nutritionally. So they're a great thing to include in your diet, and something that's often done on the Mediterranean diet for flavor as well,
Right.
instead of a lot of salt.
Yes, and so there you go. All right, so I have my pan ready to go. We're gonna roll these in. But the first thing we're gonna do is make our filling. And we were talking earlier that that's what's great about Involtini. You can kind of put whatever you want in your filling. You could put, so we put on the recipe of lean turkey sausage. Italian turkey sausage would be a great addition. But tonight we're just gonna do the cheese and the ricotta and the spinach and some garlic. So let's take a look at the recipe.
You could do mushrooms as well.
And I did. So
Yeah.
I made one earlier today and I added chopped mushrooms. A lot of times we use beautiful mushrooms as a substitute for meat. So
It's that same kind of flavor and
umami, and
texture.
it's just wonderful. All right. So now what we're going to do, we've already done our eggplant. So our next step is to make the filling. So we're going to add just our 15 ounces of ricotta. So this is our fresh ricotta. We're just adding it right there. And then half a cup of basil leaves finely chopped. So we picked these earlier today, and I'm just going to chop these up. And then it's 1 to 2 cups of fresh spinach. So this is 2 cups, and then I'm just going to chop these up to add in there as well. So then we're just going to add a little garlic, or 3 cloves of garlic. I've already pressed them. You could mince them, and we're going to mix that in. Again, this is one of those things like put your favorite filling, put your favorite, spices, whatever. You could add oregano. You could add crushed red pepper. I think that would be yummy in it. Really anything that you like. And then we're just incorporating it.
And we're not adding a lot of salt in here because the cheese comes with that natural saltiness.
Right. I'll probably put a little in there, but again, not too much, because then we're going to have our tomato sauce will have sodium. And we're letting all those, the fresh basil do its job and add flavor. So I am going to add a little salt, and then Claire and I are going to test this just to see, or I'll probably just test this, and then see.
Question.
Yes, there we go. All right, so we have our dish prepared because this is where we're going to roll them. Eggplants now are cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick up your slice right here, and I'm going to start on the end that's the smallest. So when you're looking at your eggplant, I'm going to start on the smallest end. This is larger, and we're going to put this down. I think I'm going to move this so we can see it a little better. So I'm just going to use a little spoonful of my filling, just like this, and put it at the end.
So on the smaller side.
The smaller side. And then I'm just going to take it and roll it. But this what makes me realize, guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to pour some of our marinara sauce already in our dish because we want that to coat the bottom. So in the recipe, it says we're going to stir this up a little bit, and I'm going to coat my dish with about a cup of the marinara sauce. So let's go ahead and do that, because I'm going to add the roll-ups or the involtini right to the pan. You want to save about a half a cup of your marinara to put it on the top. So what I'm doing is I'm just coating the bottom. This. So, it's going to sit in this beautiful sauce. Of course, we love you to make your own marinara, but if in a pinch, we are using Rayo's marinara. So I've rolled up my eggplant, and I'm putting it right in the sauce.
Seam side down.
Seam side down, yes. Okay, that's great. So we're gonna roll it while I'm doing. So if you were cooking sausage, you would cook your sausage and add it to the mix.
Or mushrooms.
Or
anything.
mushrooms. Really, the
So all
sky's the
she's
limit.
doing, she's putting the
The
mixture
filling,
on the thinner side or the smaller side.
right? I'm just using my hands, and then we're just gonna roll it up. We had preheated our oven to 425, so now we're gonna actually turn it down to 375 before we put it in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish this up. So all I'm gonna do now is we're going to pour the rest of our marinara on it. Just kind of drizzle it over here. Here we go. This is our dish. So what we're going to do to get ready for when it comes out of the oven, what you can garnish it with is Parmesan, some more basil, red pepper. So I have my leaves right here. I'm going to chop my basil up. Already prepared for you. That came out of, we cooked a little bit before class. We have them already made. So now what we're going to do is garnish it with our basil, and then of course we're just going to put a little fresh Parmesan right on top. Bon appetit, everybody. There it is. All ready to go. So this is what it will look like when you're done, when it comes out of the oven, and all you have to do is add your Parmesan and basil. All right. Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Cheers. Y'all have a great night.